Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode. This is your boy Culture Shock. We're here to give you a preview video of the Detroit Lions coming into Indy to take on the Indianapolis Colts. This game has a lot at stake. This team, the Detroit Lions, is one of the best teams in football. One of the best teams in football. And not only do they just win games, they insult you, they disrespect you, they put up so many points. They put offensive linemen at receivers. They do all of these wildcats, college football motion plays. Sometimes the quarterback even goes for catching the football to score. This team, if they're going to beat you, they're going to beat you bad. They're going to make you regret for even trying to let off the gas. If you even give them the moment to go out there and embarrass you, they will. They're very disciplined, high-motored, very talented offense, and they do all of this with Jared Goff at quarterback. To even think of that, they're doing all of this with a bridge quarterback. I don't think he's the franchise quarterback. I don't. I think when they got something working, they're gonna go with it and keep it going. He's like I don't know. Like I said, I don't think he's their franchise. I just think he's an extremely talented quarterback, and he's going with what's working. Honestly. I don't think he's going to be there forever. They're going to eventually have to draft a quarterback that's going to be the staple of this offense. Now, of course, you can thank Hendon Hooker in this sense, and he's on the sideline waiting for his moment. They might have an Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes type thing going, depending on how long Campbell's going to be their quarterback. But they're playing some good football, man. They really are. Last week, they played the Jaguars and beat the snot out of them, 6-52. And the Jaguars is a team that always has the advantage for the Colts. For the Indianapolis Colts. They always have the upside. But they lost 6-52. They wind up going crazy in the second quarter and going into the third quarter. They pretty much, that's when the beating started. 645 yards total on offense. That's kind of crazy. 645 yards total. 449 passing yards. It's something you will see on Madden. This is insane to even process. 196 yards rushing, 8.5 yards per carry. This, like I said, this team 6 for 10 on third down. They're pretty much wheeling and dealing whenever they get the chance. Jared Goff, dinking and dunking, finding his targets. Jahmyr Gibbs is one of those guys I fear going into this game. Amon St. Brown is looking like the franchise receiver for them. Last week, he had 161 yards receiving, 11 receptions, and a touchdown, 14 yards per carry. Jameson Williams might be the dark horse of this offense going into this week against the Colts. He has Jason Williams is sneaky speed. He's sneaky fast. Like 4 receptions, 124 yards last week, 31 yards per carry. Jahmyr Gibbs, 1 reception, 54 yards, man. This team, Khalif Raymond is another guy that can pretty much explode at any moment. But this offense, like I said, they got so much talent when they can just explode at any moment. You have to be hitting on all cylinders. And the main key into stopping this high-paced offense for the Detroit Lions is what? The defensive line for the Indianapolis Colts. Listen to me and listen to me good. You have to win every assignment. Every assignment. You have to get Jared Goff uncomfortable. Now, this is something, and I would think of as this is the most important game this year, right? But this team can be beat. This Detroit Lions team can be beat. They only play what's in front of them. If they see any weakness, they're going to take advantage of it. But like I said, this team, they're 7-1 and they're beatable. They're very beatable. I look at this team like the Vikings, right? That whole division, that whole NFC division with the Vikings, Lions, Packers, all those teams, they do the same thing, right? But I feel like this Colts team, the way they've been playing defensively, they haven't been letting up a lot of points. They haven't. So I think Gus Bradley is going to have to drop something really good to get Jared Goff off his game. Like I said, Jared Goff is not the franchise quarterback. He's been playing good football, mind you. But I think this team can be beat. I think the way that the defensive line's been playing, I'm glad that we got Grover back. I'm glad we got DeForest Buckner back. Latu just come off a sack. Quiddy Page just had a very good game. He's going to be coming back home to Michigan. Well, Michigan's going to be coming to him because Detroit's coming to Indy. But I think this is going to be a statement game for this defensive line. They got to hit Detroit in the mouth. They got to hit him in the mouth. If this defense does not put pressure on Goff, this could be another 50-point game. It's that simple. Pressure bursts pipes. You got to put pressure on Goff. It's that simple. I feel like Zaire Franklin and those guys, the linebackers, are going to have to step up this week. They got to have a good speech in that locker room to lock this team in. They got to have a good speech before the game to lock this team in. They got to be locked in, man, because if not, it's going to be bad. And it's going to make it worse for me because I got to talk about the game after the fact. I just want this defense to be locked in and put pressure on Jared Goff. Can he run the football? Absolutely. Can he throw on the run? Absolutely. Can he improvise? Yes. He's everything you would want out of a franchise quarterback. That's the football he's been playing. But he's been well coached. That's what should be preached. It's not even about the players. It's about the coach. The coaching staff for the Lions has been being very well coached, man. They've been playing some good football, preaching good football, motivating these guys every week to go out there and try to put up 100 points. They are not the Kansas City Chiefs. To be honest, I think the Detroit Lions are better than the Kansas City Chiefs. You can argue with the wall. I do not care. I do think the Detroit Lions are better than the Kansas City Chiefs. But like I said, every team can be beat. It's any given Sunday. And if I'm going in this week and hoping that this team can go out there and play some good football and actually win, I do think the Colts can do that. Now, last week, the Lions only let up 170 yards total. Only 170 yards total from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mac Jones he threw some pretty decent footballs last week. And that goes into Anthony Richardson and this Colts offense. This Colts offense last week, 332 yards. Now, of course, you may say, well, it was against the Jets. But a lot of people just going to ignore that the Jets got one of the best defensive lines in football. Now, the record may say otherwise, but if you look at the sack totals and how much pressure rates that the Jets have been getting up, I think the Jets have one of the best defensive lines in football. And Williams has been playing. I think Williams has one of the best seasons in his career this year. I think he's the sack leader or up there in the sack leader conversation, like top 5. So Anthony Richardson, when he's pressured, he's still seeing high success. And he's just coming off one of his best performances last week. Ran for 2 touchdowns, threw a touchdown, and pretty much was 50%. Well, I would say 80% or 90? I think he was 90% completion. 20 for 30, basically. Yeah, he was 20 for 30 last week. Now that I remember, he was 20 for 30, pretty much hitting every pass, everything in stride, comfortable. Even though the pocket had 3, even though his offensive line had 3 rookies on it, he was polished, composed, never rattled, and figured it out. His receivers caught the football last week. The run game didn't work last week, but there's a chance for them to redeem themselves. They have a chance to redeem themselves this week against the Lions team. So it's going to be very important for the run game this week to figure it out. They got to figure it out this week. Because if not, it's going to be a tough week. The run game is my Achilles heel for this game. I think the Colts got to be successful on the run. The Lions might force Richardson to throw the football, but if they look at last week, I think they got to change the perception. They're going to be looking at film. I think every team knows that. Every fan knows that. The Lions are going to be looking at the film this week to figure out what they want to do as their identity going into this game against the Colts. The Colts are going to be at home. They just come off a 3-game losing streak. They just won their first game. So they're going to be looking to continue this win streak. They're going to be looking to continue it. And they're going to be at home. Richardson is starting again, and the crowd's going to be crazy. They know how big this game's going to be. It's going to be loud. It's going to be loud. It's not a far trip for Lions fans to head up to Indy. There's going to be a lot of Lions fans in that stadium. it's going to be a lot of Colts fans in the stadium. So it's going to be mixed feelings in that crowd. It's going to be mixed feelings. But Lucas Oil's going to be rocking. They're going to be rocking. They're going to be rooting for Richardson. They know how important this game is. He's going to be turned. He just came out for a game that was pretty much his first clutch moment, I would say. His first clutch moment. He was successful. But like I said, the run game, I think, in my opinion, Shane Steichen, he drew up a good game plan last week. But this week, the run game has to be the perception for the Colts to figure out if they can beat this Lions team. If Jonathan Taylor can have a big game, and this is a big game, if he can go out there and get the job done against the Lions at home, that's going to be my dark horse. Not A.D. Mitchell, not Alec Pierce, not Michael Pittman Jr., not Anthony Richardson, not Shane Steichen. Jonathan Taylor is the guy I'm putting my money on this week to have a big game against the Lions. That's what I think it's going to be. And it all makes sense, honestly. It kind of makes sense to me because when you look at it, last week, the offensive line had a better protection in pass pro instead of run pro. But the recent weeks, they were better run blocking. So with Richardson, I would say. So I think this offensive line's going to step up in the run game blocking wise. And I think that's where the bread and butter is going to be. I think it's going to be Jonathan Taylor. I really do. And I think they're going to switch gears. I think the Colts are switching gears into starting to put the league on notice that they got something. They got something cooking. I really do. I really do feel like they got something cooking. And this is going to be the game. The Detroit Lions are no slouches. Like I said, this is the best team that they've played all year, besides the Packers, of course. I think the Colts, best team they played so far this year, is going to be this matchup against the Detroit Lions. And after this game, if the Colts look at the schedule, if you look at it as a Colts fan, it gets lighter after this game. So what momentum would you want to have after beating the Jets? You go into Lucas Oil and you so happen to beat the Lions, you start this win streak. This is nothing but momentum. You got to have this type of momentum. You got to have that spark plug, that instinct. You got to know that if we can beat this team, we can beat anybody. We can beat anybody. And that's a confidence booster for the locker room, for the coaching staff, for the organization. And not only them, it's a confidence booster for Anthony Richardson. So this game is super important for everything going around in general. And we'll get an injury report later on this week on Friday to know who's going to be in and who's going to be out. Hopefully we get Ryman back later on this week. But this game is important for this team. This is a morale booster. They're going to be locked in. Both sides. This is pay-per-view. This is going to be the main event, I'm pretty sure. So is it going to be high scoring? I don't think so. I think it's going to be maybe in the 20s. I would say the 20s. I don't think 52. I don't think 50 points will go up this week. If the Colts do put up 50 points, hey, I'm all for it. But I don't see the Lions doing that. So you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section, your score predictions, who's going to go off, who's going to go crazy. Shout out to all the Lions fans. Much respect to you. You guys have been having an amazing year so far as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section as well. All love. But we'll let you know the reactions after the game on next week. So you guys stay tuned for that. But let me know your thoughts. Follow me on all platforms as well. This is Culture Shock. And until next time, I'll see you. Peace.